Today, we're going to dive into something that touches every single one of us, our relationships. But we're going to look at them through a pretty unexpected lens, a biological one. We're talking about how our connections, for better or worse, actually rewire our health.
I want you to really think about this for a second. We've all been there, right? That awful, tense feeling during a fight. But what if that bad argument could do more than just ruin your day? What if it could literally make you sick?
You know, it might sound a little like science fiction, but the research is stunningly clear on this. The answer is a hard yes. The connection between how we talk to each other and what happens inside our bodies is very, very real. And to get it, we're going to go on a journey. From the living room couch down into our cells.
Okay, so first stop on this journey, stress. And not just any stress. We're talking about that low-grade, constant, simmering stress that comes from ongoing conflict in our most important relationship.
Think of your body's stress response like a fire alarm. It's supposed to go off when there's a real danger, then shut off when the threat is gone. But when you're in a state of constant conflict, it's like that alarm is just stuck on, blaring 24/7. Your body is always in high alert, emergency mode. And over time, that really starts to wear things down.
So, how exactly does that feeling, that tension, turn into a physical, biological problem? Well, it turns out the evidence is literally written in our hormones and our immune system. At the center of all this is something called the HPA axis. It's basically the command center for your entire stress response. Now, it controls the stress hormone cortisol, which should have a nice, natural rhythm, high in the morning, low at night. But study after study shows that chronic relationship conflict just flattens that rhythm out. It throws the whole system out of whack. And a major consequence is that your immune defenses get weaker. And you can actually see this happening in your blood. During those really hostile arguments, your body releases a flood of inflammatory chemicals. We call them pro-inflammatory cytokines. The difference is just, wow. During a hostile fight, these things spike dramatically. But look at what happens during a supportive chat. That inflammatory reaction stays nice and low. And this isn't just theory. It has real, measurable effects. In one incredible study, scientists actually gave couples tiny blister wounds. The couples who were hostile with each other healed at only 60% of the rate of the couples who were supportive. I mean, think about that. An argument can literally slow down your body's ability to repair itself.
So let's be really clear. We are not just talking about hurt feelings. This is a direct physiological hit. The stress from that kind of conflict creates a state of chronic inflammation inside the body, and it suppresses your immune system.
Now, this state of chronic inflammation, some scientists have called it a fertile ground for other diseases. And to understand why, we have to zoom in even deeper and look at one of the strangest puzzles in all of biology. How cancer gets its energy.
Yeah, so almost 100 years ago, a scientist named Otto Warburg noticed something really bizarre. Healthy cells are super efficient at turning sugar, or glucose, into energy. But cancer cells, most of them are terrible at it. They actually choose a fast but incredibly wasteful process. They ferment sugar, even when there's plenty of oxygen around to do it the right way.
Just look at this breakdown. A healthy cell gets about 36 units of energy, we call it ATP, from one molecule of glucose. But a cancer cell, it only gets 2 to 4. That's a huge difference. And to make up for being so inefficient, it just has to devour glucose at an absolutely furious rate.
The best analogy is thinking about engines. A healthy cell is like a high-efficiency hybrid. It gets maximum mileage. A cancer cell, on the other hand, is a gas guzzler. It's built for a quick getaway, not a long trip. It cares more about speed and getting the raw materials to divide and grow than it does about being efficient with its fuel.
So right now we have these two seemingly separate stories, right? We've got relationship stress causing inflammation on one side, and we've got cancer's weird, inefficient metabolism on the other. Well, this is the moment where those two worlds slam right into each other.
Here it is. This is the crucial connection. The chronic stress from our relationships creates inflammation and weakens our immune system. And that environment, that fertile ground, is the perfect playground for a wasteful, sugar-hungry cancer cell to thrive in. You can think of it like this. Your body gets so busy fighting the constant 5-alarm fire of stress that it can't properly police its own neighborhoods
to get rid of abnormal cells.
Now, once you understand this connection, it's actually incredibly empowering. Because if the problem exists on these two different levels, the relational level and the cellular level, that means we can fight back on two different fronts.
Let's look at the real-world impact. We have a story from a patient we'll call Penny, who said that as her marriage was failing, her husband just pulled away during her cancer treatment. That lack of support wasn't just emotionally painful. It added this huge layer of stress that made the physical battle of the illness even harder.
But then you contrast that with Marianne's story. Her husband became her rock, her dedicated caregiver. Their supportive communication became a true lifeline, something she felt directly helped her recover by keeping that crushing stress at bay. These two stories perfectly illustrate this idea of a two-front battle. We can work from the top down, healing the relationship to calm the body's stress response. And, at the same time, we can work from the bottom up, directly targeting the cell's unique metabolic weaknesses.
So on that first front, what does that actually look like? Well, it means actively replacing toxic communication patterns like criticism and contempt with their healthier opposites, like showing appreciation. It also means using proven therapies like emotionally focused therapy, or EFT, to rebuild that secure bond. And practical tools like nonviolent communication, or NVC, can teach us how to express our needs without launching a war. And then there's the second front, healing the cell. Exciting new therapies are emerging that go right after this metabolic weakness. For instance, things like the ketogenic diet aim to lower blood sugar, effectively starving those sugar-hungry cancer cells. The common diabetes drug metformin is being studied because it can interfere with the energy factories in tumors. And another drug, DCA, tries to force cancer cells back to being efficient, a switch they often can't survive.
So when you put it all together, the big takeaway is this. The way we talk to the people we love, the emotional climate in our own homes, this is not soft stuff. It's a powerful force that directly modulates our biology, from our hormones all the way down to our cells.
It's a pretty profound thought to end on. If our words really do have the power to alter ourselves, what kind of conversation will you choose to have today?